Hello and welcome to another edition of Droppin' Bombs with me, your host, Corey Baumeister. As always, with the lovely people here at TCGplayer.com. Today I'm bringing you Bant Spirits, courtesy of Paulo, Vitor, Damo, Rosa here. Took this deck to a second place finish here at GP Detroit last week. We had some great games against Jeskai Control, Blue Red Moon, and Storm there at the end to close out the match. You'll have to see our record. I was pretty impressed with it there towards the end. You can also check out my article there at TCGplayer.com. I got a full sideboard guide there for you. And then below you can check out all the timestamps for all the different matches. And hope you enjoy the games. Stay tuned. And welcome to the games here. All right, so we are on the draw. I think this hand is fine. Nothing super crazy. I think most of the time we always want to be starting with Noble Hierarch. That would be ideal. But, you know, this is definitely the silver medal. So we're going to keep this. All right, let's see what we're up against. Hopefully not Chain Whirler. All right. Island. Presumably blue-white, I would assume. We're going to start. We're going to start by getting a Hollowed Fountain here, thinning our deck out to not draw any more lands. 4 is definitely all we would ever want. And we don't really ever want double green here, so having access to double blue, I would say, would be more valuable. All right, we're going to play this Wanderer. Opt, yep, so I would assume control here, but definitely can be a bunch of different decks here. It could be Storm. Oh, forgive me. All right. And a Plains. Yeah, almost for sure blue-white control now. That is not an instant or sorcery. I have to let that resolve. Aether Vial. I think it's more important to be getting a creature down here. I don't see much of a reason to not play this breeding pool. Most of the time our life isn't super relevant. So we'll just get this in play. All right. Attack for 2 here. And Selfless Spirit is quite bad against blue-white just because their main Wrath of God is a Terminus, which really doesn't line up well against a lot of decks. Or I should say it lines up very well against a lot of decks because it's just so hard for decks to get around the bottom of the library aspect. All right, our opponent deep in the tank. Opponent got rid of another Search for his Kanta. Makes sense. All checks out. So our hand is not very good right now. Ooh, Jeskai. Jeskai is probably even a little worse for us. So here we have the option to save one of them here. And I think we want to just use the Wanderer so our opponent doesn't draw an extra card here. All right. All right. Selfless Spirit is a lot better now against this deck. So, I don't see a reason to hold on to Haunt. Also don't see a reason to play it. It's not like we're going to get it discarded, so we might as well keep it a surprise for as long as possible. This turn is definitely going to be Aether Vial and Selfless Spirit. Get on in there for 2. All right, we got the Clock of Foreman. And what we would love to see on top of the library is a good old Collected Company. I think I'm going to be saying that a lot during this video. All right, well, we will sacrifice 1, keep him alive. Alright, our opponent still gets to draw because the spell did resolve. We could have sacked the other Selfless Spirit and fizzled the spell, but it seems pretty loose. Our opponent's getting pretty close to active as Canta already, which is not ideal. But we can start using the Haunt at least here, if we don't get any other action. Yeah, that's not great. Alright, we're going to get on in there for 2. We have not drawn very relevant spells so far, that's for sure. And we're going to play another Aether Vial and then pass it back. Late game top deck Aether Vials are never what you want to be seeing. We do have our opponent down to 11 already, so that's not irrelevant. And at least our opponent's not going to be able to flip a Scanta next turn. Very likely the turn after. Okay, never mind. Very likely next turn. Now we're definitely afraid of something like Teferi next turn. That would kind of put us in maybe a game-ending spot, but a little too early to tell. Alright, now our opponent could play something so that no matter what, they could flip as Canta. But just getting rid of a Logic Knot instead makes sense with Aether Vials. Pretty much makes that a dead card. Alright. Scanta is active, so we're going to try to close this game out as fast as possible before our opponent inevitably wins the long game. Field of Ruin's pretty good as well, getting rid of our Haunt. Okay, at least we'll get one activation here. Ooh, getting more. Our opponent has bigger plans for their mana, apparently. We got a Snapcaster Mage, probably bringing back an Electrolyze. Not the biggest deal, definitely not great. Have to sacrifice the Selfless Spirit again here to at least keep another spirit alive. Such a selfless act of that spirit. Alright, 1 and 1. Doesn't even try to kill the spirit. That makes sense. Yeah, we're still going to make him indestructible. Opponent gets to draw off that. Tick both these vials up. A Wanderer. Not the greatest draw, but not the worst. Get on in there for 1. Alright, play a Wanderer and pass it back. I mean, we have the path to answer the Snapcaster, but that's not exactly what we want to use it for. Path is definitely coming out in this matchup. Doesn't seem very good. It could always be the other way that our opponent wants to bring in, you know, Lyra or Baneslayer or something to answer, and then Path would be good again, but likely not the first card that our opponent would bring in. There's our Path target, Colonnade. Alright, definitely taking 2. Although our life total is actually pretty low as well from all our damage we've dealt to ourselves. Alright. Blue. Activate Haunt. And we'll sacrifice this to thin our deck out a little bit. Get this Temple Garden tapped. Alright, and we're going to tick both these up again. No real reason to leave a Violet 1. Having 2 and 3 is a good good mixture here. Ooh, Geist. That could be a good one. That could be a game winner. Get on in there. Yeah, I think we'll just leave it at 3. pass it back. Search for his Canta. Really no interest in destroying our Haunt, which surprises me, because our opponent could have Field of Ruins and activated his Canta. Lightning Bolt revealed. Now here's a time when we probably are going to path this Snapcaster, because our opponent's likely to be going for lethal here. Or maybe we just make a Haunt token. Or the attack puts us to 9. And then Bolt. Yeah, our opponent can't kill us now, because it only has 2 possible red sources. So, like, Bolt, Snapcaster, Bolt isn't lethal. And we're going for lethal here. So I think I'm just going to take this. It's the higher risk play, but at this point, we're not going to win a long game against this Canta. So we want to have all the tools possible to win the game right now. And yeah, likely something like this is going to happen. Yeah, I think we'll might as well make our opponent pay and not be able to activate his Canta. That's pretty sweet. And then we are presenting lethal here. So we're cool with that Wrath of God. Yeah, and here's a point where that Field of Ruins hitting that Haunt, like that play I said last turn, would have been huge for them right now. What would we do, you know? And now our opponent is going to be forced to Lightning Bolt this token, which is going to be nice for us. Alright, so we're going to activate Haunt. And then we're going to activate these Vial for the first time this match. They've been quite useless so far. Until now. You only need one good turn. Yeah, what is our opponent going to do about a Geist right now? Is there a disallow maybe in our future? That would be interesting. I maybe should have activated the 1-on-2 first, just in case, but seems unlikely. We'll trick our opponent here. Just for fun. Maybe as a stifle. No. So our opponent likely to use that Bolt on the Spirit. Or could have something like a path for the Angel, I guess. But yeah, that's something we don't care about too much. An Opt. Must not have Terminus in the deck, otherwise you would want to save that Opt for our turn. Bolt targeting the Spirit, like we said there, that's cool. Yeah, this Haunt has actually done some work. Okay, I'm going to double check this list here. Yeah, no reason to go to 4. We only have 3s here. So we're just going to keep these Vials at the same spot. Okay. Now, any Anthem would have done it for us here. But the nice thing about Geist attacking here, we're strip mining our opponent. Flooded Strand cannot be sacrificed anymore, unless it's sacrificed to cast Path to Exile. So we have strip mined our opponent. And now we're going to play a land and say go. I like our spot, but it's definitely not over yet. Our opponent likely to use Colonnade in some form of defense against this, and hopefully the Path will get us there, but hopefully Path will light our path. Definitely using all our resources here to squeak out this game if it comes to that. And I mean, something like Cryptic Command to tap our creatures is still a likely play. Cryptic Command is kind of a time walk. But the nice thing about not being able to use the Flooded Strand, unless our opponent has another land, they can't, is Canta and search for one, and then Cryptic Command, so that could be relevant. Double strip mine. Love it. Is there a reason to not make a token here? I don't think so. Here comes a cryptic. I would assume tap draw, but you never know. And this is another opportunity where our opponent could activate Field of Ruins here. And then if our opponent has a Wrath of God, then we are actually in trouble. All right, tap draw. All right. Ooh, spicy. Spicy, spicy. Oh, I love casting this card. It's been since standard Bant human since I've cast a Collected Company, and boy, am I excited. Okay, yep, can't really do much about that except cast a company now, but that would be pretty loose. So we're just gonna let our opponent do his thing, try to deal with these, and then use Collected Company as kind of the contingency plan. Uh-oh, I don't like our opponent tapping red. That's usually a bad sign for us. Third strip mine. Looks like we might have a Wrath here. Something like a Lightning Helix is kind of scary just because a Lightning Helix is a Lightning Helix and a Desperate Ritual at the same time because it would unlock all three of these lands. Supreme Verdict, maybe? Okay. Well, let's hope this company resolves. Collected Company. Ooh, yeah. Oh, I could have cast... I forgot I have Spellqualler, and that, I don't know if it was worth it to cast in response to that Wrath, but... Well, we for sure want the Captain. Almost want the Wanderer here, just because we can counter a spell here. Yeah, Spellqualler is the same relevant... Yep, Wanderer actually does something, so... Any order? And then it gets the trigger here. That should just be a concession, yep. Had the Lightning Helix. Oh, our opponent could have did that a little differently. Could have Lightning Helixed us, and then sacked to find a land. Yeah, I think our opponent played that wrong. I could be wrong. Okay. Sideboarding. Alright, well, I think we want as many Geists as possible. Disdainful Stroke seems pretty good. Counterspells in general seem really good. Thalia seems pretty good. Don't really want any of that. Yeah, and I think Path is just quite bad. Phantasmal Image seems questionable. Maybe not horrible. So, I mean, it can copy like a Captain here, and then it is just indestructible. Selfless Spirit is actually good against Jeskai. This Thalia seems great. Spellqualler's good. I think the worst card is Phantasmal Image here. Or maybe Disdainful Stroke. Maybe this card is just not meant for this matchup. It really doesn't counter anything that relevant. So yeah, nope, we're not going to do that. This could be okay. A Teague. Maybe we can do one Teague here. Could be a way to have an insurance policy up against a Wrath. We'll find out. All right, let's do it. It could be wrong to be taking out all the pass as well, just in case we get Baneslayered or something, but I feel like that's not the plan against a Spirit deck here. I think we're going to be getting this Vial into play right away. It's just such a tricky card to deal with. And Phantasmal Image looks quite bad right now, so maybe that card is not supposed to be in. I don't have a ton of experience with this deck, so if I'm not playing it perfectly, you know, don't stake me to the wall. Alright, Thalia seems pretty good. Another great reason to play Aether Vial first. Okay. So now we can actually do something pretty tricky here if this all works. We can play a Thalia, and then we have a Force Spike available to us, which is pretty cool. Like Logic Knot, we can counter a Logic Knot right now, and we definitely will. Okay, not the case. But we can counter a Lightning Bolt now. And we do have the captain now, or the combo of captain plus Phantasmal Image to give our team hexproof. Seems nice and matched with Thalia. If we can make it so Wrath of Gods cost 5 mana, that seems insane. Alright. Opponent cannot electrolyze. We are going to sneak this into play. Alright. We can't actually cast anything right now, but that's okay. Vendilion Click's not that big of a deal. See if our opponent wants to take anything. This gives us a free turn. And Thalia can still attack through Vendilion Click, so not too afraid of the click. But God, how beautiful is that artwork? That is one of the coolest Vendilion Clicks. That's a tough spot for them. I don't know if I would take anything, but I mean, like, we get to play Selfless Spirit and Phantasmal Image. We can Phantasmal Image and Vendilion Click our opponent for something that might be a little scary. Captain, okay, that's fine. We still have that play available. And then we have counter backup here as well, so that is nice. Alright, didn't want all this land, but that's okay. Now we can't get the Wanderer big enough to actually get through the click. So I think we'll just attack with both here. Maybe just Thalia. We don't really want our opponent to trade with this. Or do we? Yeah, I think we do, because we're gonna, if our opponent does block, we're gonna flash in an image, copying a Vendilion Click, and then we can really see what our opponent has, and then we can just probably hold back and win the game off that. Alright, so that is the play. So we don't care too much about that Wanderer. It is nice, but not 100% key here. We'll see what our opponent has. Whoa. That is a good hand. Okay. Yeah, no, I'm not a fan of that hand. Well, what we are going to do is cast Unified Will, I guess, but Electrolyze is still going to kill the Mendelian Click, so it's not very good. I guess we take one of them. Yeah, that's pretty bad for us. And then we're gonna play this land and then say go. Have a counter spell available. Yeah, our opponent's hand is very good against our board right now. Yeah, that's another reason. I think we got to take out Phantasmal Image. I think that was a mistake to keep that in. And we don't want to sack this at end step because our opponent could then, in response, Electrolyze and Wrath us. I think we're going to leave this at 2 for this turn. Opponent has no blue mana there. Our opponent correctly waited to do that until, just get an island, until our upkeep, which is definitely correct. Unified Will this, but sadly our Vendilion Click was still targeted, so it will be dying. Nope, since we do have a 2-drop. Okay. That could be tricky for next turn. Alright, so we know our opponent has a path, and that's it. Yep, have to let that resolve. Get a plains here. Opt. Okay, our opponent's down to 2 cards, so we're doing alright. Is that an Escanta? That would be bad. Oh well. Okay. Take this up. Not a good draw. Not a good draw at all. I think we will just play this and hope to get something. Really use, if that was a collected company instead, that would have been a little more ideal. So now our opponent is going to have Colonnade to just brick wall us as well. Maybe a reason to leave and pass. Had to have been better than that image. That image was not good. But this is the type of deck where you may be a little behind, but you cast 1 collected company and, you know, hit 2 good creatures and you just cannot lose, you know? Chose to not flip Escanta. This has to be a great card then. If it was a land, that would not make sense because he already had the land with the Escanta. Thalia. Nope, can't really attack here. We can try to, yeah, no. It would just be a bad attack. So we'll just cast it and say go. But casting it pre-combat means that it's almost for sure going to resolve because our opponent would have to tap mana, therefore not be able to block with Colonnade. Lightning Bolt. I think that's worth saving here. The Captain is just a little bit more of an effective card here. So our opponent did either save Lightning Bolt or the land. I would assume it would have to be Lightning Bolt. And didn't sacrifice Tarn at end step to get a Steam Vent or something. That seems questionable to me as well. now we're in trouble. It's not bad, but still don't think we can attack. We can play this first to see if it's going to resolve. Alright. Now we cannot attack, sadly. But I think next turn we would attack, just because we still push damage and it's one less card that our opponent gets off his Kanta, which is important. It's a fairy. Yeah, we're cool with that. You can cast that one. That combo, well, it is insanely powerful of Teferi and his Kanta. Right now, we have a little bit too much pressure for our opponent to be able to get that going. Alright, so now I think we almost have to attack. Not good. I think we do. We get in 4 damage, put him to 7. Or our opponent just gets another Azcanta. This is the last turn we can shut down an Azcanta activation with this attack, so I think it is worth it. This attack is basically sacrifice a creature, deal 4 damage, and take a card from our opponent's hand. So if we had this path, it would just basically be game over. So maybe we should be leaving in some number of path. Nothing we can do there. I'll land into play, tap, and say go. All right, we need a good one. That's not a good one. Now we can't attack this time. Yeah, 3 land in a row is not what we needed. Probably gonna be losing this from this point now, but you never know. Snap caster. Opponent's doing all the things. And there's a cryptic. That's going to be bad. Our opponent can cast a fairy with cryptic mana open. That's pretty good. All right. Now I don't think we even have Collected Company as an out. Well, guess we'll get an uncounterable Supreme Phantom here. Cannot attack because that Colonnade is still ready to block. Supreme Verdict. It's pretty good. Things are going well. Things are going well. But I live by the Reed Duke motto of never give up, you know? Make them kill you. Mistakes can always be made. Alright, that's not good. We have drawn a lot of lands in key turns during this. Now Secure the Waste. That should probably close this out pretty soon. I do like our chances on the play. I think this actually is a pretty decent matchup. This deck just gets so hateful towards counter spells here that it's pretty tricky. Gaddock Teague. All right, let's try it. It shuts down 2 cards in our opponent's hand, or 3 cards, but those cards also kill it. So big secure. Now we got a blocker. We got a blocker for one of those tokens. Yep. Take an 8. And then we're going to draw our card and concede unless it's... I don't think there's a single thing. And we're dead. All right, next game. Alrighty, so yeah, Phantasmal Image I think is quite bad. Disdainful Stroke does seem okay. Countering a key Cryptic Command, or... I mean, it doesn't counter Supreme Will, so that makes it worse, but... I do think having a key counter spell could be great. Path just seems okay, but... They both seem quite situational, but Path seems a little bit more situational. If we're pathing a creature, I feel like we're behind. And if we're behind, it means we had cards like Path in our hand and we couldn't pressure our opponent. So I think Disdainful Stroke is a card that if we're ahead, it can just cement the game. As is same with Path sometimes, but we do have Spell Quallers to deal with Supreme Verdict. And then Disdainful Stroke to deal with like Wrath or something. So yes, we would like to go first. Ooh, this is a spicy one. Yeah, we're going to keep this. Okay, I like this. I like all these cards. All right, Aether Vial. We're going to get some uncounterable Geists in here. This game could be a quick one. Yes. Ooh. Okay, so Spirits. I don't think there's a 1-mana counter spell, but just in case, always good to get in the habit. Can't be countered. Taking 2, opt or path. Looks like an opt. It's going to opt to opt. All right. Puts the card on bottom. All right, we are going to tick this up. Likely lightning bolting before I can do something else that would make sense. Or lightning helix is better yet. Yep. It's pretty good. Okay, now I don't see a reason not to play Geist. It's our best card. Yeah. We're going to get some green source here. Maybe it's just Forest? Yeah, I think so. Oh, Field of Ruin, I guess, if we get one of the duels. But nah, no reason to get too low. So yeah, green, blue, white. Geist. And then we have a collected company and a captain next turn. It's going to be insane. Now, the thing we're afraid of, I guess, is like Snapcaster just blocking, or like a Vendilion Click just blocking. But otherwise, Geist is pretty unbeatable. I think we've all had the great joy of sitting on the other table from Geist and having a bunch of removal in hand, and you're just like, yep. Alright, Field of Ruin. Could likely see a Wrath next turn, but after a Wrath, we just get to go company and captain. Wow. Okay. Yep. We're just going to attack for 6. I mean, there could have been a reason to play a captain off the Vial to get an extra point of damage through, but we're winning this game as long as we can follow up to our opponent's Wrath. Our opponent has Elspeth in. That card seems like it does absolutely nothing against this deck, but I could be wrong. I'm not a Jeskai expert by any means. Alright, likely here comes a Wrath if our opponent's sacking this now. And we could get cute and try to company in response to get a Spell Queller for extra dunking factors, but that doesn't seem good. So we will just let that happen. And now hopefully we don't whiff on a company, but I have been there before. Alright, so I'm going to get a Hallowed Fountain. Sure. A2. Collected Company for the win. I've gotten to say that sentence a lot. Okay, that looks like enough. This. Any order. Maybe that's not enough. Yeah, it definitely is. Because we can play captain and then another captain. Captain! Is that enough on its own? 6, 7, 8? Yep, that's lethal right there, but extra rubbins. Blue, white. Captain! Hiya! Just, you know, just Wrath last turn and then just attack for 12 damage. 9, 10, 11, 12. No big deal. No big deal. Stay tuned for some more Bant Spirit beatdowns. Alright, round 2 action here. Okay, so we were on the draw, but our hand is nice. Turn 2 Geist is always good. We're going to keep. Now, if that actually happens is another story, but we're going to find out. Alright. Ooh. Now, we definitely want to save this for spirits, especially up against an island, so we're just going to get a green source here right away. It looks like we want the breeding pool first. Likely to really matter, just either that or the temple garden. Alright, Noble Hierarch. And now an uncounterable turn 2 Geist is even better. Even better. Alright, let's hope it's maybe not like Storm or something. That would probably be not the greatest of matchups. Yeah, even if it's another control deck and it's just a kill spell on Noble, that wouldn't be the worst. Okay, so it lives. We're going to go Spirit. Blue, white, and Geist. You know him. We love him. Geist of Saint Draft. Let's go. Okay. So I guess this still could be... Maybe this is a remand just to draw a card. So this still could be Storm. Storm or Jeskai at this point. It's looking more and more like Storm, which is probably not good. We do have an insanely fast clock now. Blood Moon. Well, that's not the worst. Not the best, but... Ooh, that was a sick draw! That was sick. Now we got Spell Queller. That could be Blue Moon now as well. There's so many decks this could be. So we can cast anything right now. Nope, that does not work like that anymore. We can go double Selfless Spirit. I think just holding up Spellqualler is just probably better. So yeah, we'll attack, and it should be for 7, since it still gets an Exalted trigger. Alright. Now we're going to cast a Spellqualler at end step no matter what. Yeah, this has definitely just got to be Blue Moon. And I don't think there's really anything that can be done to a Geist. So we're just going to cast this anyways here. I mean, our Noble Hierarch is what we want to live the most, basically. So I think putting more pressure so that our opponent can't kill the Hierarch profitably without like actually just losing the game seems the best to me. Okay, untap. Alright, now looks like our opponent is probably trying to set up a Snapcaster block Geist plan. Otherwise, I don't know how our opponent possibly ever beats Geist. So I don't think we're going to attack with Spellqualler here. Seems smart to me. We're not falling for your trap today, Danker. Danker is his name, if you can't read it from here. Alright, so attacking for 7. Endelian Click. It's a little more lame. I think we're going to try to Spellqualler that. And we can't cast anything else. Hopefully our opponent doesn't have something like a Anger the Gods. Like a Cryptic Command or something to stall out is okay. But yeah, Anger is... Anger would be pretty much GG. Okay, so now we have the Path. Path seems pretty close to unbeatable right now. But we're going to play the Selfless Spirit first. Really force our opponent's hand right now, and then also have this Path. Maybe I probably should have used the Plains, but I wanted... Yeah, I probably should have just used the Plains. Alright, so Abrade that resolves. Endelian Click resolves. See where it's aimed. Alright. Targeting me. We'll path it. And that's the game. Okay, Blue Moon. Well, Geist seems insane in every matchup possible. Stony, rest in peace. Yeah, the one thing I do love about Bant Spirits like the most, it has access to just the best sideboard cards ever. Or the best sideboard cards in Modern. Rest in Peace and Stony Silence are the 2 single most powerful sideboard cards you can have. And this deck can play both. And the deck's just still insane. So, I'm a believer. Okay, so they play a bunch of spells. Thalia's got to be good. Once again, Path is not good. For sure cutting some in numbers. Maybe leaving some. Another reason, I think this is, we sideboard very similar to like we do against Jeskai here. Could be a world where Teague is okay. Or Dramoka's Command. We gotta prioritize searching out basics here. And do we want any pass? I don't think so. There's even more less relevant creatures in this deck than the other one. So, but Dramoka's Command seems good. So these are the cards I kind of want, and I'm not sure what I don't want. Jamoka's Command could be very tough to cast if Blood Moon actually lands, and it's pretty much for Blood Moon, but here is a point. This is just a better path to Exile, to be honest. Like, it's more versatile, and the extra mana isn't that big of a deal. So I think this card's actually great. I think probably the worst card is a Disdainful Stroke. Yeah, probably a Disdainful Stroke. Yeah, we'll go like this. Because we're always going to have more creatures, so Unified Will is just a better counter spell. This sounds good. Real good. Oh, wait. No, it's not that good. We don't have blue mana. Still good. Still good enough. Vial is a great way to get around Blood Moon. Our opponent is likely to take out Blood Moon, to be honest. So. Okay, Mountain here. Gonna take 2. And we still get to have play 2 spells next turn, but after that, we really are hoping to draw one of our blue fetch lands to have Spell Queller available. Okay. Yes. Another Vial. Actually, I think that might just be better. So then our cards cannot be really countered. Yeah, we're just going to play it slow and steady, not rush Thalia. Because more than likely, Thalia is going to die to either a Bolt or a Remand or a Mana Lake or something. So, no real point. And this is not... Out of all the lands to draw, it's not the worst because it can draw a card. And it's not a blue source, so that would be the best one. But next to a blue source, it's the next best one. Peak? Gonna learn all my secrets? I was trying to hide all my secrets. So our opponent knows that we're gonna play a Mizium Mortar or Wanderer, so likely not to Blood Moon us, because it would just get Force Spiked. If we cared about that kind of thing, which I think we probably should. Oh wait, no, I can't counter Blood Moon with that. Can't counter that either. Well, that's okay. Would like to use this ability. Let that Abrade resolve. F6 value. Oh wait, no, not F6. Alright, tick this up. Now we got a long ways to go before we can Spell Queller. Ah, just kidding. Alright. I think we're just going to hold up Spell Queller here. We might just cast it, or we might sack our Horizon Canopy. Not positive yet. See what our opponent does. Our Spell Quellers are a lot less valuable when our opponent knows about them, so... I think here we're just going to sack a Canopy. 4 lands is... we could top deck Collected Company. Yeah, we'll sacrifice it. Not positive about this play, but... does leave us a little bit vulnerable here. If our opponent's trying to Cryptic, yeah, we're gonna counter this Abrade with our Wanderer, I think. Ooh, a Peak. Okay. Yeah, I don't really care about that. Peek away. All right. Our opponent once again knows all our secrets. Ooh. It's not bad. Not bad. Okay, gotta let that happen. All right. Yeah, I think we're going to play this even though it gives our opponent perfect information. This land still hurts us. So, yep, we'll play this. Say go. Our opponent, if they attack, they definitely have a plan for our stuff here. All right. Well, I think we go to protect it. We're just gonna get one of our basics here. Probably looking to a braid. Yep, that's okay. Yeah, now we just get a free Snapcaster here. So I don't like that attack on our opponent's part. So there's no spell our opponent can cast to actually kill this now. Yeah, we'll go with the basic planes, I think. Maybe a basic 4. Now we'll go with the planes. Num 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 num. Now I think I want to play a Spell Queller here to get some pressure going. Okay. Now we only have one blue source here, so I think we're just gonna cast Vial and save this for later. Oh yeah, now it does cost 2. Okay. Yeah, Thalia isn't all good. Sometimes works against us. So Vial isn't that important right now. Interesting, interesting. Vial is pretty good, though. I could see just a world where we play Vial and then sack Horizon Canopy and attack for 4. I think that's the play I'm going to do here. Yeah, I like it. We'll start... it doesn't win. Yeah. Right, we'll start with the Vial. Get on in there. And we'll pass it back. This is a turn we're definitely afraid of. Turn, target permanent, draw a card. Yeah, I don't think I cared too much about that. Our opponent likely just wanted to make sure that didn't get countered. Sorry about all the coughing. I had a cold from a lack of sleep in Detroit. We had a fun tournament, but it was exhausting. All right, draw a card. Okay, 2 lands, not really what we wanted. I'm gonna get Flooded Strand because we're just gonna get an island here, I think. I could hold off on playing Thalia. I kind of like playing nothing. For sure we're going to attack. just going to say go now. With this Flooded Shrine, I'm actually going to maybe go get that Breeding Pool. I could Spell Queller this if I'm feeling froggy. Excuse me. Nah, we'll let it happen. It's just an opt. All right. Another opt's okay. Our opponent kept that card. That's scary. Jace the Mind Sculptor. Whoa, I'm gonna live, I swear. Okay. So, we definitely need to, well, we can do... Oh, wait, this only counters instants and sorcery. Okay, yep, so we're just going to Spell Queller it. Start with that. Our opponent likely to do something like a Lightning Bolt. That's not good. It's not good at all. Yeah, we just needed our opponent to not have that land. Yep, Jace resolves. Let's just hope our opponent brainstorms. So we can at least just attack back and kill it. I'm going to play this right away. Alright. And we're going to sacrifice this. That Breeding Pool. At least we get to take down Jace here. That's huge. Alright, 2 on the bottom. That's nice. Take it. We're coming for you, Jace. Alright, now we want a Collected Company. Ooh. Now we're afraid of... Anger the Gods, something like that. So I think we're just going to attack, play it safe, not reveal our tricks yet. Just get Jace out of there. Oh, sorry about the coughing, everybody. It's rough. Sleeping on planes, taking red-eye flights is never very fun. Decides not to attack. Oh yeah, I can't flash in the captain. That's not very smart. I might not actually have another basic land. I might have fouled that one. Temple Garden. Yeah, we got the Temple Garden. Temple Garden Breeding Pool. Well, I guess we can just get the Forest, so we don't have to sacrifice this yet. Untap. Tick this up to 3. Okay, now we got a Flash Captain. Ooh, Dramoka's Command. I think we're just going to attack. I'm going to try to use this captain as smart as possible. Since it's not this attack isn't lethal yet, there's no point in really flashing this in. Okay, that means to me that our opponent is likely going to try to bounce, draw a card. I think we want to respond to this. We do not want our opponent to have another cryptic, so we're going to put a counter and fight. God, I haven't been able to put a counter on something and fight since Bant Humans as well. Can you guys tell I like Bant Humans? Because it was like my favorite deck, because it got me back on the Pro Tour. Alright, so what card do I want to counter on? If we're trying to play around Anger the Gods, then I actually want it on Spellqualler. 1/1 counter on this. Fight that. Why is this not working? Counter fight. Our opponent could have like a lightning bolt here, which would not work out well thanks to this captain. The spell. Well, we're going to have to counter that. Okay. Alright, now our opponent's taking 3 here. We could flash in this captain to make our opponent take 4. Does that change our math? That's the first thing you want to look at. Like, does this increase our clock? So, if our opponent is going to 8 right now, and instead they'd be going to 7. So at 8, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so we actually don't need to reveal this because we have lethal next turn no matter what exactly by just flashing in the captain at end step. So we don't want to reveal that we have this yet in case our opponent tries to cast a removal spell, like Anger the God, something like that. So yeah, because we have 5 here, plus it gets pumped, so 6, 7, 8. So we do not want to do that. But if our opponent was at 9, we would have wanted to do that because then our opponent has to answer. Now, this cough is rough. I'm not only dropping bombs, I'm going to have to be dropping cough drops here soon. Okay, Jace the Mind Sculptor. I don't think we care about that too much. Might be trying to bounce our Spellqualler. Nope, just going for the Brainstorm. Now, Lightning Bolt saves them. Saves our opponent. Alright. Present lethal. Captain. Thin our deck out. I would not like to add a counter. And that's the game! Alright, stay tuned. Let's see if we can get that good old 3-0. Stick around. Alright, and welcome to our third and final round here. Okay, we're on the draw. Our opponent kept. And this hand, you know, doesn't have a vial, so it's obviously not insane, or we don't have a noble, but, I mean, I think it's fine. We're going to keep it. Maybe we'll top deck a 1-drop, and then it is just the blade. Alright, blue-red. Played a lot of control. So, I would assume there's nothing we're going to want to counter, so we're just going to play this tapped. Our opponent might think we're on a control deck, play something a little differently, you never know. Alright, blue and red. Storm. That would be a reason to want to keep that Hallowed Fountain untapped. think we're just going to say go and then path during our opponent's upkeep. All right, path. Uh-oh. Ruh-roh. Oh, that's not too bad. We can live with that. 6 tokens coming in. Alright, we'll get a breeding pool, put that into play tapped. Now we are going to more than likely want to play a Geist here still. Alright, so Spirit, white, blue, colorless. Geist here. An automatic blocker here, so we're only taking 5. The next turn we could get a couple Supreme Phantoms going. Okay. So we got to play defense here. All right, we'll take 5. All right, we'll name spirits again. I think we just want to go double Phantom in here and just... Well, it's likely our opponent is actually going to try to gift here. So actually, we probably do want to keep up Spellqualler. Yeah, I think that seems smart. I'm going to play this. So our opponent is going to play gifts in response to this, I would assume. Remand. Can't be countered, so just trying to draw a card. Just double remand here. Now, is there a reason to play? Probably do want to play Phantom now and leave the Spellqualler for later. Likely not to die next turn, but you never know. And right now we don't have any blockers, so we'd just be taking a free 5. Yeah, I don't really like that. And it'd be very tough for our opponent to kill us next turn, I think. So we are going to go with Phantom here. Now we have 2 blockers for those goblins. Storm count 5. And we do have a counter unless you pay 2 spell available to us. So that is huge. So Brawl, that's okay. Okay, Ritual here. Metamorphose, that's okay. Can't counter that. We don't really care to. Now if our opponent goes like Past in Flames, then we'd counter. Or another Visions. Put 2 cards on bottom with the first one. It's likely still looking for Grape Shot. I don't think we're going to be dead this turn. It'd be pretty tricky. Then we do have a lot of pressure coming back the other way. With a top deck land, we might just be able to kill. I'm not doing the math yet. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Nope, we don't have 10 damage. Alright, one card on top, one on bottom for this one. Opt. Yep. And now I would not be too surprised if we see a Grave Shot for 6 here. Yep, okay. That's not great. Alright. So our opponent has to aim these in such a way that we can't just counter it and keep something else alive. So I'm guessing 4 has to be at this and 2 at the Wanderer is what I would do. But if our opponent gets greedy and tries to aim even 1 Grape Shot at me, then we get to keep this Phantom alive. Okay, so that's 4 targeting Supreme Phantom. Yeah, I guess our opponent can actually hit 1 at us. Alright, 4. Okay, I just have to let all this happen. Yep. We really want to top deck a land here to give ourselves some insurance. Attacking for 5. That's pretty good. Alright, so we're going to cast a Phantom here. That lets us at least get through and attack for 7, putting our opponent down to 4. So now our opponent is actually in a rough spot where they don't want to block this because Brawl is way more important. But now our opponent is dead next turn. Our opponent is dead next turn, and we have a counter backup, so this game should go our way here. Ritual. Yep. We're looking to counter this Past in Flames. Electromancer. That's fine. Now, if this is Past in Flames, we counter it, we win. Yep. Booyah! And it does not go to the graveyard, thankfully. Alright, Uncounterable Spellqueller for the win! Alright. And now our opponent can attack for 6, we get to block 2, and win the game! Okay, now we get some good hate cards here. Rest in Peace is great. Thalia is great. Gaddock is great. Geist is good. Now, there's got to be some cards that are bad. Selfless Spirit is bad. Phantasmal Image is pretty bad. These are all good. Path. Path is interesting. Like, Dramoka's Command is probably better. I don't really like answering their stuff with counter spells. It doesn't seem like exactly what we want to be doing. Interesting. And we want to just disrupt Storm as much as possible because we can win with just about anything. It's just them not killing us. And that means disrupting their creatures. Where's Paulo, Vitor, Damo, Rosa when you really need him? When he could give me some great advice. You know, maybe I'd take out 1 Vial Can't be right, but something like 1 path? Maybe these Wanderers are just really bad. No, it's still disruption. We want to be disrupting. Maybe a Lord is what we don't want to be doing. I could see it. I'm not sure which Lord is worse here. We probably want to keep all the 2-drops. So maybe I'd take out a couple of those and bring back in Path and Dermogus. I want to just be as disruptive as possible. You know what? Maybe 1 company I should take out with taking out all these creatures. Alright, I like it. I don't like taking out companies, but... Alright, and I am human, so I gotta take a quick bathroom break, and I'll be back for the second game here. All right, and we're ready to rock. Okay, on the draw. This hand's not very good. It's not very good. We can't kill any creatures. We don't have a Rest in Peace. We have a redundant Aether Vial. I think this is a mulligan. Our mana base isn't good. Nothing that screams great hand about that. This is fine. Also not amazing. We don't want that. We're looking for disruption, because Storm just wins very consistently. Alright, Visions. Alright, 1 on bottom, 1 on top. Okay, play the Wanderer. At least we got... If we top deck, a Rest in Peace is what we exactly want on top. That would be nice. Giving us the chance to counter the sleight of hand. I don't hate it. I don't hate it. This looks like a bait. This looks like bait to me, but I am going to take it. We need to disrupt. And we're not really going to probably get any other chance to. All right, we're going to play a Vial. And I think Flooded Strand here, just to thin out our deck here and hopefully draw something good, even though we do have a good play next turn. But walking it into a remand is less than ideal. Pieces of the puzzle. Alright. Hit an empty, a pieces of the puzzle, and a ritual here. Looks like kept pieces of the puzzle and empty. Good cards, good cards. Likely next turn going to do another setup with pieces of the puzzle and then probably kill us the turn after, or at least put a bunch of goblins out there. And this deck doesn't really do much against goblins besides like trying to fly over them. Yeah, it doesn't matter too much here, so we'll get the white source. Yeah, I guess Wanderer countering pieces of the puzzle would have been a lot better there. So in hindsight, we probably shouldn't have countered that sleight of hand. Spellqualler. That ain't bad. Could Spellqualler this next pieces of the puzzle. I like that. We're going to play this so it doesn't seem so obvious that we have it. Or we could just Geist and let our opponent pieces of the puzzle. am all about getting a clock going, so this is a tough one. This is very likely the key turn of the game. If we just leave mana open, our opponent might be very likely to just like pass and say go and then gifts. So it's pretty unlikely that anything's going to work out great if we just say go. I think we want to get the pressure in while we can, especially since we don't have a Cavernous Soul to make this uncounterable. So if this gets like remanded like 2 turns later, we just feel so bad. Now if our opponent just pieces of the puzzle, maybe we can do something with this Collected Company. Ooh, did our opponent just whiff, basically? Yeah, only got a Grave Shot out of that. That's pretty good for us. So we have 2 cards our opponent, or we know about, a Grave Shot and an Empty. Ooh, a Thalia. Ooh, that's good. That's real good. So we have to play the Company before we play the Thalia. So, yep, we're just going to attack. Yeah, we could, with the right kind of combination of stuff, we could have our opponent dead with this Company here. This isn't looking too bad right now. We're going to just try to react to our opponent. Almost any spell we're going to play Company right now. Our Collected Company. Okay. So a Wanderer and a Supreme Phantom, I think, is what we want to be doing here. Because then that Wanderer will become 3. We could hit it on piece of the puzzle here. Or let's see if we can present lethal. So if we get 2 Phantoms, then they're both 2, so that's 4. Geist would be 4, so that's 8. The Angel would be 12. That's lethal. But can we still have lethal the other way? Supreme Phantom plus Wanderer, but the Wanderer is going to be sacked to deal with the pieces of the puzzle. Then we have Thalia, Phantasmal Image, Geist, which would be 3 for the Geist, 4 for the Angel, that's 7. Phantom would be 8. Thalia would be 10. So no, we wouldn't have lethal that way. I don't think our opponent's going to be able to kill us. I think we go for lethal here, which would be the double Phantom. And then any order here. And then with that on the stack, we're going to play Thalia. And make it very tough for our opponent to go off. Thalia. F6. Okay, so our opponent definitely hit some cards here. Like, can only really cast a Fiery Impulse, which isn't enough. So, I'm pretty sure our opponent is just automatically dead. We're all pieces and repeal to the graveyard. So, repeal. And has conceded. Boom! Bant Spirits. Holy. How have I not explored this deck sooner? This deck is insane. This deck is busted. Oh my. Storm is usually a matchup where it's always a bad matchup for me because those of you who know me know I love me some Tron. And it's always bad. It's always bad. Ugh. A nice 3-0, a nice 3-0 dropping bombs. You know, life is good when that happens. I want to thank you so much for stopping by, and we'll see you next week. Later. And welcome to the Deck Tech, everybody. So Bant Spirits is a deck that picked up popularity now with M19 with the printing of Supreme Phantom. Spirits was always a deck that was sitting right at the tier 3, maybe tier 2 bubble, really waiting for one more card to really put the deck over the top. And lo and behold, it's here. And a 2-drop Lord so that you can Aether Vial and scale your way up to a 3-drop Lord by going end step this, main phase Captain, and all of a sudden you're putting so much power on the board. It's really hard for decks to be prepared for everything out of this deck when it can flash in so much power. At its core, it's still a Collected Company deck, and I mean, there's combinations that you flash in off Collected Company that are just brutal. I mean, you flash in 2 Captains, and you have 2 4/4 flying hexproof flyers. Like, what are you going to do about that? You know, I mean, this deck is just so resilient and so powerful at the same time. It still allows you to play 4 Path, which is, in my opinion, the best removal in the format right now. It plays other slippery cards like Wanderer to interact with your opponents. And then my personal favorite card, Geist of Saint Traft. Against these control decks that are trying to, you know, spot remove a 1-for-1 you can't do that against Geist. And there is a lot of ways to bring it into play without it being countered. Collected Company, Aether Vial, Cavern of Souls to make it uncounterable. Even just Noble Hierarch on the play into Geist, you can't counter that. This deck has a lot of draws that just cannot be beat. We'll move on to the sideboard here. Excuse me. One of the most important aspects about this deck is these 6 cards. Stony Silence and Rest in Peace are by far the best sideboard options in Modern right now. And if you get to play a powerful, interactive deck that can play all of the best hate cards, it really appeals to me when it comes to a Modern deck. On top of that, we got 2 Thalia, a great card against any control shell, any storm deck, you know, KCI. Thalia is a great card. You don't want too many of them because most of the time these decks can't kill it very effectively, and you don't want to flood on legendary creatures. We got a couple counter spells for your Tron matchup for Disdainful Stroke, and then for any kind of control matchup with Unified Will. Another Geist for, like I said, non-creature matchups. You get to bring a flashback of Dramoka's Command. This card is phenomenal. It has a lot of implications and a lot of things. And then we got 1 Gadak Teague here. Another legendary creature you don't want to overload on. But the effect itself is very powerful. Yeah, this deck is fantastic. We piloted it to kind of a convincing 3-0 win. Like, I mean, I don't know. I mean, some of the games just weren't even close. Like, I think I may have lost 1 game. Sick brag, you know. I recommend this deck moving forward to GP Stockholm and GP Hong Kong for this weekend. I think it's going to be a huge player. I think it is a phenomenal deck. I chose to play Tron at GP Detroit last week, mostly because, you know, Spirits I felt like was a pretty tough deck to have because it takes up a lot of cards. I mean, Noble Hierarch, Horizon Canopy, the Sack Lands, Path to Exile, Rest in Peace, Stony Silence. This deck just takes everything, so it's a tough deck to play in Team Unified, but Paulo must have just said, forget it. I'm taking all the cards. You guys figure it out besides that. I hope you enjoyed this deck, and we'll see you next week.